Game to Love are back, and we're bringing you a podcast today to speak about what's happening in Canada right now. We've moved on from the Olympics. It is the Canadian Open for the men and the women, and there's been some very, very strange results. There's been big players losing early. We've seen finalists we wasn't expecting, and Jannik Sinner. What's going on?
Is he injured? That's right, the Canadian Open is nearly at a finale as we are recording this right now. The final of the men's is taking place, which is a bit of a strange time for it to be taking place because there's been all these delays. I mean, it's been some torrid weather over in Canada. I mean, normally known for some harsh winters, I didn't realise that they had such crazy rain as well. They're giving Britain a run for their money. And this is a sight for sore eyes. I mean, if you take a look in Canada, this is what's been going on in Montreal. I mean, it's a bit crazy. Look at this flooding under this bridge. And you can see the rain has not stopped. And unfortunately, a lot of the matches got delayed due to this. It means we're playing the final right now. It's a Tuesday morning here in the UK. And we've got two unlikely finalists. An out-of-form Andre Rublev back in form again. And your mate from the Boodles, it is Alexei Popyrin, who's shown up and beaten one of your other mates, Hubie Hurkacz, on the way to the final. And he's doing quite well in the final right now, JG.
Yeah, for those who want to see our interview with Alexei Popyrin and Hubie Hurkacz, go check it out on the Patreon and you can see all the questions we asked them. I mean, Popyrin's a great guy. I'd love to see him win. And right now he's looking quite good against Andre Rublev. But let's rewind a bit because we've not done a podcast for a while.
Yeah.
And a lot has happened in the tennis world. And if we just look at Rublev as a prime example, I mean, his run beat Echeverry, Nakashima, then beat Sinner, then beat Arnaldi, and now in the final. The big one being Jannik Sinner. Is he fit? Is he injured? What's going on with him? We know he's got a problem with his hip. The last event he played before Montreal was exactly a month ago, which was Wimbledon, where he lost in 5 sets to Daniil Medvedev. Didn't look 100% for Wimbledon, but still, that was slightly disappointing. But Medvedev can definitely do that. We know he's a world-class tennis player. Since then, he had the option to play in the Olympics and represent Italy. And this is where me and a few other Italian people I'm close to have a few issues with it. And I don't know if you want to bring up the tweet I shared with you because I feel for Jannik Sinner, if he's fit enough to be playing here in Canada, why didn't he try and push himself to play the Olympics? It's like he didn't prioritise it. He didn't put as much importance on it in the calendar. And yeah, it's disappointing. I mean, we've got Paolo here putting a tweet out. And I just want to hear what you guys have to say about it. It is a bit controversial. For those who don't know, Tamberi is one of I think he's the flag bearer for Italy going into the Olympics. Incredible high jumper, very talented. And what happened with him this year was he vomited blood to represent Italy at the Olympics. Sinner preferred not to. It's a fact. Everyone can draw their own conclusions. And the point he's making is Tamberi wasn't well. Got rushed to hospital, I believe. Finished 11th. Wasn't able to compete. Was struggling, but still gave his all to be there for Italy, representing the shirt, representing the badge, and he was prepared to fight to the very end to do that for Italy. Jannik Sinner, on the other hand, was not willing to do so, and I don't buy that. All of us, like a week later or a few days later, he's then okay to play in Canada. He opted to play Canada over the Olympics.
Wow.
Fair enough, but back it up.
Yeah.
Like, back it up. Like, if at least give the Olympics a go. I'm a little bit disappointed with Jannik Sinner. I'm a massive fan of him. I think he is the best player in the world. He's number one. He's hardly lost this year, let's be fair. So let's not jump to conclusions. And he's clearly got an issue with his hip, which is affecting him. And physically, he's not so well. But does this line up, Ben, with him getting with his new girlfriend, Kalinskaya? Because it seems like since they've got together, his injuries have got worse, and he's not been so focused and as such a great player as he was?
It's a big question, isn't it? I mean, you see, this type of thing can come into your world and it does distract from the amazing tennis that you're playing. I mean, at the time, it seems that it was all going fine, and I feel like it always can go fine if you're still in the honeymoon period. Everything's all going well, everything's good. As soon as you have your first argument, then maybe your mind's slightly off the tennis now while you're on the court. Maybe your mind's somewhere else when you're in training. There's different factors to take into a tennis mindset, and you have to be happy off the court to be playing well on it. I fully believe that is a thing, and that's why you see some of the best tennis players of all time. They have a strong base at home. They have like a wife. They normally have a family. They're always there supporting them, and they're the rock. Like you saw Roger Federer in his farewell speech. The main person he credited was his wife. I mean, that was the main person that saw him through his whole career. You need that. I feel like these relationships, similar with Tsitsipas, it didn't really help him either. This whole Badoza thing, I mean, his form's been like, it's like a whole roller coaster ride. I don't know whether he's coming or going. Is he just playing tournaments just to go out early and go around the city and take photos and travel in nice cars, have nice meals? I mean, they're tennis players, they're celebrities, they're humans as well. But Jannik Sinner's had an incredible year. I was hoping it would continue. And I was hoping he'd play at the Olympics, so I'm perfectly honest. He's a very patriotic guy, and he stood a chance of winning gold.
So why didn't he play then, Ben?
I don't know. I think he should have. I think he should have given it a go. I think even if it was a cold, even if he was a bit sick, I think just give it a go. It's one every 4 years. Bear that in mind. He'll be looking back at this. If he hasn't won a gold medal in, say, another 16 years or something, he'll be looking back at this one thinking, I was in good form that year. Why didn't I play it?
Yeah, no, agreed. And I think a bit of the criticism he's receiving is a bit unfair for the reason he doesn't owe Italy anything. He is a young kid and he's learning his trade, and the pressure he's put on himself as being the number one athlete in Italy right now. Because let's be honest, there's no one, I believe, in Italy who's at the top of their respective sport like Jannik Sinner is in tennis.
Yeah.
Because he's that good, I think comes the extra pressure and the extra expectation that he needs to be there, needs to be representing Italy. And I think his character of someone who isn't so Italian, let's say, and I don't want to be too stereotypical in that way, but he's a little bit more reserved, not so out there, doesn't look necessarily Italian. I think it makes it easier to just punch shots at him. So I do see that side of things. But saying all of that, I feel even if he wasn't 100%, he should have just played.
Devil's advocate?
Just play. One? If you're injured, you're struggling, you're not doing... Just give it a go. Give it a go. Because if you really wanted to... It doesn't come around too often. Just give your go. And then if it's not quite right and you're not feeling well or something's not right and you lose, fair play, you tried. But you can't say with Jannik Sinner he's put his all into this because he hasn't.
Well, I'm going to go devil's advocate. I'm going to go the other side as well because I can see this from the other side too, where we're talking about this guy, Tamberi. Yeah, the Olympics. And I'm not being funny and I'm not disrespecting anybody else who plays any other sports at the Olympics, but you only really hear about them when the Olympics comes around or when the World Championships comes around. You don't really hear their names shouted out around. They're not like, no one's really following them around to go and watch high jumping the rest of the year, are they? Or the other years in between the things. Tennis is a weekly thing that goes on every single week of the year, and it goes on every year. And he has a Grand Slam coming up in the US Open, which he probably has his eyes on and has a very good chance of winning. Probably thinks, I can probably skip this one. I'll still play the next Olympics and the other Olympics after that, and I've still probably got a pretty good chance of winning any of the next 3 Olympics, probably, you think. So this one I can miss, and I'm having such a good year, I could probably grab another Grand Slam. There's another hardcourt slam, and I won the other hardcourt slam this year already.
Yeah, moving on to the next Sinner tweet you have.
Next Sinner tweet. Just a reminder, just who won the gold medal. I'll just pop him up there, just in case anyone was wondering who won it. A little fair, it had a little homecoming reception there. We'll get onto that in a little bit. Another Sinner one. This is just one he popped out just after getting knocked out of Montreal, just saying, leaving Montreal. Results don't always go your way. Some positives to take. And I start again in Cincinnati next week. Cheers, Jack Draper. That was good fun. Obviously, he did play doubles with Jack Draper. I mean, that was the highlight of Draper's week because he was dreadful in the singles. Yeah, thank God for Jannik giving him a chance on a tennis court, really, because he didn't really play very well in the singles at all.
No, not at all.
Yeah. We've got this other one from Jannik Sinner as well, which was... speaking about like the way that they were doing like the structure of the tournament because of all the rain and stuff like that. They were asking him when he was asked if the rule allowing 2 matches in a day should be changed. He responded with no complaints, no blame towards the ground staff or establishment, no victim mentality, just pure class. It takes a big man to say, yeah, I'm happy to play 2 matches in one day.
He's a nice guy, and he comes across very well in the media, and you can't really criticise his approach as a person. I just feel as a competitor, there is demands, and people want to see more from him if he wants to be the very best. And we've got Carlos Alcaraz. I don't know if you've seen the videos of him training today on the courts with his top off. He's looking quite stacked, I must admit. And he spoke about what his goals are and his drive for the year. And when I compare the two, I feel, I honestly, this is how it's being portrayed as well, maybe, that Alcaraz is someone who's a lot hungrier than Jannik Sinner for success at this very moment. And this is what Alcaraz had to say.
Yes, there we go. Pop it back up on the screen. There we go.
He said, obviously being number one is a goal every time. I'm behind in the race, an important ranking for me. At the end of the year, if you finish the race number one in the standings, it's pretty close. So you're going to finish number one. I'm very focused on that. I'm focused on going to every tournament, thinking about playing great tennis, having a good result just to improve in the race. And this year, finishing the year as number one is one of my main goals right now. So I'm looking forward to it, and we'll see. And it's not the US Open, his main goal, or winning another slam. His main goal purely is to finish as world number one. He wants to be considered the very best. We're not seeing the same fighting talk from Sinner at the moment.
No, but I think that they've had contrasting years. Sinner started so well. Alcaraz, I think he likes playing catch up a little bit. I think being number one has its own pressure that comes with it. And I think Alcaraz does quite like being the number two and chasing that number one. And when he got to number one, we saw what happened. He didn't really like it at number one. He didn't really play too well. I think it might be different the next time we see him at number one because he's been there once before and now he's learning. Every single day he's learning. I'm so excited to watch him play on a tennis court right now, though. I think that he is the most exciting player on tour to watch. I mean, he always brings it. Sinner, I mean, a little bit more stagnant in some of his matches. It's a little bit too regimented the way he goes about his tennis. Alcaraz always gives the crowd something to go home, a little bit of a wow factor that they go away going, oh, that was exciting when he did that crazy flick around the net or some crazy running around. I mean, he is the future of tennis. I think Jannik Sinner was ahead, and now Alcaraz has gone past Jannik Sinner now, and he needs to catch him back up again.
Let's speak about some upsets. So the ones which I alluded to in the intro, Tommy Paul falling off a cliff, acting very bizarre, losing to players you wouldn't expect him to lose to.
So
lost to
weird.
Nakashima in Montreal in the second round. There's another one here. Daniil Medvedev lost to Davidovich Fokina. Tsitsipas lost to Nishikori.
Yeah.
Nishikori having a great event, so well done to him. But still,
Definitely.
Tsitsipas, some questions need to be asked. I know he's split with his father as coach. Does that
Yes.
mean Big Pat's coming back? I'm not sure. Probably not, but we'll have to wait and see. It's a bit of a funny joke.
I mean, there he is. I mean, the whole thing with Tsitsipas, it's an ongoing saga, isn't it? I mean, somebody with such potential. I'd sort of put him in the same category as a Holger Rune at the moment. Isn't it weird that we got this guy's face, and he probably come up when you see Tsitsipas, you see Holger Rune, this guy's face appears, and you just feel that they both have problems with coaching. And I feel that if they had the exact right person in their corner, we could see Grand Slam champions from Holger Rune or Stefanos Tsitsipas. They just need somebody who's just going to whip them into shape, and then just... I feel that they both can throw a dummy out of a pram, both of those two, and they both need to be cut down a peg or two and just be told what to do. And I don't know, be cruel to be kind, I think, with the words that you say to those type of players, because they need it. A bit of tough love.
Yep. And then we've ended up with a final of Rublev Popyrin.
Yeah.
And Popyrin being got to be the biggest surprise, I think. Rublev, it can happen. We know he's a quality player. When he's in form, he can easily get to finals and win big events. We know he's not been in form, so I guess it's a little bit of a surprise it's happening right now. But the Popyrin one, a lot bigger. And really, really pleased for him. A lovely, lovely bloke. And he's beaten some good players along the way. It's not like he's had an easy draw. First round, beating Mahatch is not easy. Then Shelton, then Dimitrov, Hurkacz, then Korda. It's actually insane, the players he's beaten. You could say it's one of the toughest draws to get to a Masters final, and then Rublev in a final. And currently, as we're speaking right now, he is up a break in the second, up a set against Rublev. So, what a fantastic week Alexei Popyrin's having, and what a story it will be. One which no one expected, and he could be Montreal champion soon, Masters champion.
Yeah, big news for him. If he wins that one, he will move up to number 23 in the world as well. So absolutely massive for Alexei Popyrin. Such a talented player. And
it's
like
the draw for me, which I can't quite believe.
A really nice guy as well. Is it the GTL effect coming into effect again? JG speaks to him. Next thing you know, his career's taken off. You did it to Offner last time. Now is it Popyrin's turn? The careers take off after a bit of an interview with GTL. Karatsev, we've had Offner, Popyrin next. I mean, it's pretty insane. I mean, fair play to... I think I'm still quite impressed with Andrei Rublev as well in this tournament, because I didn't actually expect him to get to the final. And there's quite a big statistic that he is the only man to beat both Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz this season. When he shows up, he really shows up. I totally agree with that. I think he does have that level. Jannik Sinner even said, I can't blame the injury. He did play really well. When Rublev's playing like that, he's a hard man to beat. And Rublev's even opened up after that to talk about his mental health as well. And it was something that I was actually happy to hear him talk about. We've seen him smashing the racket on his leg on so many occasions. Self-harming on a tennis court is not something anyone likes to see. It's quite disturbing, I think, when you see someone doing that, drawing blood on a tennis court of themselves in front of a whole crowd. And when there must be something going on up there that is not quite right. And he came out, he spoke here, Stephen from The Slice has popped this one up. And he said, I was able to win against today against Jannik. For me, it's a special moment because I was struggling for many months. I guess I need that match to feel like I'm playing well, that I'm able to show good results. So I'm happy. But I was struggling for many years with depression, with many things outside of the court. And I guess this year it's when I couldn't handle it anymore. And it just starts to explode. And it starts to explode more and more on the court, because in the life I was able to stay calm, but inside the court I was burning everything. So in the end, I was struggling. Now in the last months I feel really good. Straight away, tennis is better. Brilliant.
Well, it makes a lot of sense. I did say many times actually on the podcast, I think events which are very public happening in the news right now will have an impact on his tennis, and I can imagine how difficult that is for him to play under them kind of stressful situations. I don't know what else is happening in his personal life. I can't speak for that, but it will take its toll. And it's nice to see him playing a little bit freer and feeling like he's enjoying his tennis, because when he is a contender for Grand Slams. There's no doubt about it. He's very brilliant on all surfaces, and he is someone who has beaten a Sinner and Alcaraz this year, showing he can beat the very best. There's no one else really who can do that, I think. Maybe Medvedev. There's not many. Very limited numbers. Of course, Djokovic, but I'm talking about more the newer breed.
Yeah.
It's difficult to find them. Rune's dropped off a cliff for me. I don't see his level being probably that of a top 10 player anymore, I think. I don't think he's quite there.
Yes. I mean, Andrei Rublev's level is just very, very high. I mean,
no, Holger Rune, sorry.
Holger,
under 10.
Holger Rune, fantastic. I mean, does he go in the same category as Tsitsipas and Holger Rune at the moment? Like, is he a level above those two, do you think?
No, what I'm saying is Rublev is a lot better than all of them.
But
he's got the ability to beat them. No, but I'm saying Holger Rune is someone who's outside the top 10.
I think Tsitsipas as well. We know he actually is outside.
Definitely, yeah.
That's what I mean. I feel that Rublev, the way that he was dropping with all of those results, I mean, we know how many he lost in a row. I mean, it was getting a bit... I was getting worried for him because, you know, the more and more that he was losing, you see the anger building within. I'm so happy that he's actually finally got some wins under his belt. It wasn't looking too dire in the last few weeks, and it's all culminating here in Montreal. Can he turn it around in this final? I still think there's a possibility. He's getting it back to juice at the moment. And I thought something quite interesting as well. I wasn't really aware of. It says he had his first practice. This was before the event, and it was with Popyrin. Oh. So they started off the week practicing together, and he said, "I was aware that he has Russian roots, but didn't know he speaks the language. Andre talks to him Russian, and he let out a suka after Andre hit a great serve. Good to know that he still remembers his heritage." Which is I didn't realise that.
I didn't know that either. Maybe I should have asked him about it.
Yeah, that's it. And I didn't realise this as well. I was just having a little Google of him. That his father is actually the co-founder of the UTS with Patrick Mouratoglou as well. Oh. So that's quite an interesting one as well.
Who is his
dad? Alex Popyrin.
Yeah.
So there you go. Another little statistic there. I've just found out just by doing a little bit.
Never heard of him at all.
That's it.
But let's move on to the women's because we've not spoke about them.
Yes.
And I'm going to stick with the same theme, really, because it seems like we're at that stage of the season, maybe going from, hard courts to clay courts to grass courts to then back to clay courts, and now back to
over the
hard
place.
Courts.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's that. I don't know if it's just this time. I don't know if it's a bit like that sometimes in August. But I've never seen so many upsets, and there's just been so many. And the women's... probably the craziest of the lot. I mean, just going through Toronto, Coco Gauff losing early to Shnaider.
Yeah.
That's a big result. Osaka beating Jabeur really easily, then losing to Mertens really easily.
Yeah.
That's a strange result for me.
Very weird. With Sabalenka, obviously lost to Anisimova as well. Anisimova into the final, but then lost to Pegula. I feel that she has the ability to do that, Anisimova, but we've not seen it from her for so long. I never expected her to get to the final. And no disrespect to her, but she's not...
sorry, but I mean, if it's like an Ostapenko, that's something you'd expect. She beats the Badoza and then loses to Tyler Townsend. That's very her. But it's not certainly Sabalenka.
Yeah, I mean, Ostapenko went out to Taylor Townsend. No, not embarrassing. 6-2, 6-1.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah, but that's more expected with Ostapenko, do you not think? But maybe, it's not really maybe so much with the other players.
Yeah, I mean, the Osaka one was a big shock to me. I mean, I didn't see her losing to Mertens at all. To lose in straight sets as well. Massive shock. Kalinskaya retired from her match against Anisimova as well.
Well, there's been a lot of retirements. So you had, like you said, Kalinskaya.
Azarenka.
There's Hadid Maya.
Yeah.
Azarenka. There's another one as well, I remember. Where's that gone?
A few in there, that's for sure. We had Keys.
Keys, that's it, yeah. He seemed to have recovered from Wimbledon. Some good events for Emma Navarro, and of course brilliant for Anisimova and Pegula, because she's won yet again another Masters tournament. She's retained her title, and she's very good in Canada.
Yeah, I mean, she's just great at Masters events. I don't know how she does it. She could look terrible for like weeks upon weeks, and then in Grand Slams, how can she not turn this form on in a slam? It's just beyond me. Is the pressure too much? That's the big question for Jess Pegula. She could do it she does it time and time again in Masters. Gets a slam. She can't even get past the quarterfinal. Can't get to the quarterfinal in a lot of them.
I mean, how many Masters is it now for her?
I mean, I'll have to look it up.
I'm fascinated to know. See if you can find out, because she, like you say, seems to always do very well in these situations. It's not like with the men that Masters and Grand Slams is a different format, like best of 3 to best of 5. It's best of 3 regardless for her. It purely must just be down to the pressure of it being a Grand Slam. Maybe because there's more matches, not sure. But
3
quality
Masters
player in
now.
there. But yeah, 3 Masters she's won.
She's been to the final of another Masters.
Her best in the Grand Slams, what, quarterfinal?
Yeah, quarterfinal. She's been to the quarterfinal 6 times.
Crazy.
I know. She's been to the semi-final in Masters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times as well. Another final as well. Yeah. So she goes a lot deeper. But it's the same
players. It's the same players. It's the same draw. You can't say a draw's tougher in a Grand Slam than Masters, maybe marginally. But because the Masters is, you still get all the very best players playing in them.
Yeah, you definitely do. I think we got to give a bit of a shout out to Diana Shnaider though, because I think she's just had an absolutely fantastic year. I mean, she's up now to number 20 in the world. I mean, this is just, she had a new career high already of 23, and now she's moving up even more. She actually looks pretty dangerous. I mean, beating Coco Gauff's not an easy thing to do, and she made it look easy. She made Coco look average out there on the court. I'm excited to see what she's able to produce. She's going to be somebody you won't want to play coming into the US Open. She's in top form this year. I'm quite interested to see how Kim Win Jeng gets on now after she's got that gold medal as well. That might give her... Does she have the Andy Murray effect after the Olympics? Is she going to take... Well, we said that about Zverev. It didn't happen to him, did it? But maybe Kim Win Jeng, she gets a US Open title. I mean, I think she has a good chance at the US Open, to be honest.
Definitely. Let's see how that one goes. There is an event kicking off right now. Of course, it is Cincinnati. Yep. Me and Ben will bring you our thoughts tomorrow in a video. And what's this you're showing?
No,
sorry,
that's just
from before.
Yeah, that's just literally just the rankings, just showing Diana Shnaider. And I think we should just end off with where we started. We haven't spoken about him, but it was a bit of an emotional return back to Serbia for the big man, Novak Djokovic. There was a massive hero's welcome for Novak Djokovic and the rest of the Serbian Olympic team as well, of course. But I think most of them were there to see Novak, to be honest, if I'm perfectly honest, to cheer him completing tennis. Song coming soon.
Yeah, I didn't see this news, so it's great to see that he did win gold. First time I've seen it. Thanks for the reminder, Ben.
Don't worry. There's a tribute on the channel. If anyone wants to go and check out the tribute,
I do feature in it. I start it off.
That's it. No, it's good. We'll stop talking about it soon. I promise. But yeah, I think that's where we'll wrap this one up. No better place to finish than a little bit of Djokovic chat. But yeah, make sure to follow us on Spotify. If you want to see the interview with Alexi Popyrin, join the Patreon. And if you want to be a part of Cincinnati Player Roulette, also sign up and you can win prizes.
Thanks for watching, everyone. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you soon.